In this video, we are going to talk about statements of comparisons. And statements of comparisons are taking the English and translating it into a mathematical statement. So here we're going to write this mathematical statement. And when we talk about comparisons, we're going to talk about equal signs and inequalities. So comparison means that we have a left side and a right side in our problem. So in this particular case, so it's asking us for the following scenarios, define a variable and write a mathematical statement. And then it also says for question 1 and 2, create a graph that represents that situation. So I'm going to walk you through number 1 and number 4. And so then you can, when you're working to fill in the rest of your notes, you can work together to create those notes. So the fire code states that there can be up to 50 people in a certain classroom. So in this case, we are talking about this up to 50 people in a classroom. So we're talking about people, and so I'm going to define my variable knowing that we're counting people. So my variable definition, again, has to have a reasonable letter, and then it has to have the variable definition and the unit. So P equals the number of people. And now we got to figure out how we show when we have the number of people being up to 50. And so P has to be, we don't want it to, we can be equal to, but no more than, so we want it to be is less than or equal to 50. And then we also want to create a graph. And so I'm just going to do this off to the side here. Here is my number line. And I'm going to call this number line P because that's what my variable is. I need to have a 0 on here. And I'm going to put 50 somewhere on here. And I need to go from P, so 50 is my greatest, so I'm going to color that in because I'm going to include 50. And I'm going to go, I can't just have an arrow that goes all the way to the left because I cannot have negative number of people. So I'm going to close in a circle at 0, and I'm going to shade my graph between 0 and 50 in this particular case, because again, it needs to represent something that happens in context. Secondly, I want to look at number 4. And this one is the sum of two brothers' ages, John and Pete, is at least 34. So in this particular case, we have two different people's ages. And so I'm going to use J equals John's age in years. And then P is going to be Pete's age in years. And now we're going to talk about that we have this thing, the sum of the brothers' ages is at least 34. So sum meaning the answer to an addition problem. So we're going to take J plus P is at least 34. So that is greater than or equal to 34.